everyone, Tom Butwin here for Premier Guitar, and today we're taking a first look at the Tour Baby 100 from Orange Amplifiers. Before we dig into this amp here, make sure you are subscribed to the Premier Guitar YouTube channel so you don't miss anything in the future. So this is a brand new offering from Orange Amps, and I'm going to tell you kind of what I've experienced with it so far. There are two other amplifiers that they've released in this series as well, the Dual Baby and the Gain Baby. This is the Tour Baby 100, and we'll talk about what those other two amplifiers have in common with this one, but also more importantly what they have that this one doesn't. But they're all kind of based around the same idea. We've got two different channels on this particular version, the Tour Baby. You've got a clean channel, a dirty channel, and if you're familiar with Orange amplifiers, this layout is not going to be foreign to you. You're going to be used to it, particularly with the symbology and the way they lay out their knobs and everything. It's very straightforward. I mean, you're not going to get lost in this thing like you would with an amp modeler or something like that. As you look into each one of the channels here, you'll notice some extra knobs that is where this amplifier starts to get kind of interesting. So let's start with the clean channel first. The clean channel sounds great on its own. It's very simple. Again, you got volume, bass, treble, but you also get a VCA compressor, a one knob compressor. My favorite kind of compressor because you can't mess it up. It's a really cool addition because it does a few things. One, it negates the need for a compressor pedal. So the Tour Baby, we're working within a compact package here, something that's almost an all-in-one solution. So having a compressor on board just kind of sweetens up the clean channel. I actually really liked having it on most of the time. The more extreme settings, you can get some interesting things out of it. But with it turned all the way off, I missed it. The clean channel is really cool with it off, but I would say keeping it somewhere in that like 9 to 10 o'clock range really livens up that clean channel on the amp. On the dirty channel, again, generally kind of just a standard layout. Bass, mid, treble, EQ, of course. Presence, which is a cool option if you want to add some more bite or air to the sound in general, particularly if you're going back and forth between like humbuckers or single coil guitar or just different types of tones you're looking for. And then gain and volume. All straightforward. The one thing that was not straightforward for me on this is this knob here that says FS volume. So we can kind of guess what FS would mean. That's foot switch. But it took me a second to kind of think about like what this would be used for. This is a foot switchable, basically volume boost. So again, Orange is designing things into this amp to help you reduce or maybe even get rid of your pedal needs with this amp. So you can actually foot switch this volume difference. So on the dirty channel, you can have a little bit of a volume boost for a solo if you want to do that again without having to add a boost pedal. Now, if you use it like I did here in the studio and you don't have a foot switch, this FS foot switch volume is not available to you. But of course, you can switch between the channels with the toggle switch right on the front of the amp. So output-wise on the back, we have some more interesting things. We'll start with the more standard stuff and work up to the really cool option that they've included on this amp. It brings it kind of into the 21st century, wherever we are now in 2025. But you've got an effects loop. So if you do want to bring in some pedals and throw them in the loop on this amp, you can do that. You've got both the foot switch inputs on the back, again, for the dirty and clean channel, as well as this foot switchable volume. And you've got your powered speaker outputs on the back as well. If you want to use dual cabinets, you can do that 16 ohms. If you want to use a single, you can do 16 or 8 ohms on the back of this as well. Now, where it gets kind of interesting though, is that you will find an XLR output on the back of this amplifier. And it's not a modeler, it's not, anything like that. But what this allows you to do is to not only run this like a traditional amplifier, but you can take that XLR out and bring it into whatever you are running for cab simulation or impulse responses. So, that opens up a wide variety of ways you could use this. Maybe you have something on stage that you like to use that has your favorite IRs in it or cab sims, but you want to have a real amp. Use this. Maybe you have some in the box type stuff in the studio. You can run this directly into your DAW or whatever your setup happens to be for recording at home. The options are kind of endless with that, and it's cool because I like the fact that you're not sort of like solidly in one world or the other. You're in traditional amp world, but you also have some options when it comes to direct input, silent stage stuff if you want to do that, or you can do the dual routing thing where you have a real amp into a real cab, but you also have the option of sending an XLR out into a cab sim or some type of IR thing and using it that way as well. Maybe skipping, miking your cab, however you want to use it. It was a really cool addition. So it's not just like a typical lunchbox amp that's just small with 100 watts of solid state power you can just throw in a gig bag. It is that. However, you have the XLR out on the back, which gives a lot of versatility to the Tour Baby. So I did mention there are two other amps in this lineup that Orange have just released. You've got the Gain Baby and also the Dual Baby, in addition to, again, this one, which is the Tour Baby 100. They share a lot of similarities as far as the layout, as far as the different foot switch options, the switching, the look, just the chassis in general, the portability, all shared amongst the lineup. But where you get in kind of some of the differences, you'll notice on the front panels, on the Dual Baby, it's really your dual channel amps. You've got two amplifiers basically in full control of both sounds. And then you also have some different switches between those two channels where you can tighten up or fatten up the bottom end. On the Gain Baby, that's for you high gain players. The gain or dirty channel on that one is going to give you all those high gain tones that you love. The Tour Baby, as far as I can tell, is kind of maybe like the middle ground, most versatile version of this. Probably the one, honestly, that I would pick just for the style of player that I am. Not really a high gain type person, so this actually works pretty well. And as with some other Orange amps that I've demoed here on PG's YouTube channel, I love the clean channel on these amps. I'm always like kind of blown away by the fact of how much I like the clean channel. And that's, if I had to pick my favorite between the two here, clean channel with that VCA compressor is definitely a winner for me with the Orange Tour Baby 100. So if you want to know more about this, obviously you can check it out on PG's website, on the YouTube channel here, and the internet at large. And best case scenario is you get to go play one of them, which I actually think is kind of worth it, especially for the clean channel. So once again, my name is Tom Butwin here for Premier Guitar. Make sure you stick around for more videos, and I will see you in the next one.